Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. So we built our entire web page and we built it from scratch, which is really exciting. So now let's take a look at everything we've done. So we're in the desktop view and I'm going to scroll all the way up and down to see what we've got. Everything looks fabulous. And now I'm going to actually jump into the mobile version and see what we need to do with the mobile to make it work for us. So I'm just going to click on the mobile version and I'm going to start taking a look at what we've got. So the first thing I can see, like right off the bat, is this logo is very, very big and it's supposed to be pretty small. So to edit that, I just click on that item and I'm going to go to the advanced mobile settings. And I'm going to start putting some padding in there. So I'm going to set it to maybe 100 on one side and 100 on the other side. And that creates a lot smaller logo, which is great. But then I've got this extra space on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to remove some of that space to get that burger menu over there and looking a little bit better. So I took out some of that space. I'm going to do the margins the same thing, make sure it's 0 and 0. And then on the burger menu, I'm going to go ahead and maybe take out some top space and bottom space as well to kind of scooch everything a little bit closer. And that seems to have done the job. So I'm happy with that and I'm going to definitely leave it that way. So then I take a look at the next section. And it looks like I've done a pretty good job of the text and it's all centered. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to leave it like that. And then the next area was the image plus all of the 4 advantages. And those look like they've lined up beautifully. Really the only thing would be maybe to make this smaller. So I'm going to click on the image and then start to kind of pull it in a little bit as far as left and right. And maybe even make it a little bit smaller. So maybe 70 and 70. Perfect. So now that image is smaller, and then once we hit that image, then we've got the advantages lined up. So that's beautiful. And then the next one right here is the image. That image looks great. And then we've got those sections, so not really a whole lot to do there. And then our main services and no more. And then we've got the images right here, and they're actually really big. So we've got our services. We don't really have to reorder them. We can just make sure that the image is on top of the service. So I'm going to go ahead and put the image on top and then the name of the service. So I'm going to move that down on each one of these. So picture service, this one needs to be moved down. And then we'll keep doing that until we get all of them done. So this one needs to go down. And I think we've got one more. So there we go, that's great. Now we need to change the images so they're smaller. So I'm going to click this right here and I'm going to go to perfect. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Perfect. And then the same thing here. And then the same thing here. And the same thing here. And then that makes them a little bit smaller, so it's not so crazy that they're taking up so much space. And they're inside those boxes, so we can reduce the space if we want to in between these, but I think they're fine. And that looks fabulous. And then you'll put the name of the service here, so it won't really matter what order they're in. So then the next section is we're awesome at our work. And then we've got those numbers, which are great. They're in a great order. And then we've got what the clients say. These are the testimonials. And then we've got client A, B, C, and D, which is great. If you want to change the order inside those boxes, you can. Remember, we had the images at the top. So I'm going to click and put the image at the top. Oh, so it made all those bigger again. So we're going to just change the size of those again. So we'll go just like we did before. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. And there we go. And we'll jump back into the desktop mode and save. So we can save the changes that we made so far. and then we'll jump back into mobile, and we'll keep working in mobile to make changes. So everything looks great there. This guy we're going to move up to the top. Perfect. So now we should have the picture, client, and testimonial. And the same thing here. So we'll move her up. And we'll move her up one more. And then that's in the right order. And this one we'll move up. And we'll move that one up again. There we go. And then I think we've got one more to do. There we go. We'll move her up. And one more, and this will be done. So let me move her up again. There we go. Perfect. So now we should have all of them moved up like they're supposed to be. Great. And then we'll take a look at this right here. That looks fantastic. We've got the contact us, politics, and then the newsletter subscription, which looks great. And then the next thing is to work on our images, because the images are a little bit big. And these popped up as the old size again. So let's go ahead and click those and try again to change the size. So there we go. Change that size. Change that size. Change that size. And change that size. Perfect. And now we'll actually change the size of that image. You don't have to if you don't want to, but we can change them to maybe 50 and 50 so that maybe the image is not quite so big. There we go. And perfect, we'll go 50 and 50. And then this one we'll do 50 and 50. And then the last one we'll do 50 and 50. You can see that it's really easy to change the sizes and kind of scale it better for the phone, and it will look better. Also, if you want to put this button down below these, you can actually do that as well. It really depends on the order that you want to do, but in the desktop it was actually below, so we can actually make sure we go to desktop and save. So we'll go to the desktop version and we will save and publish, and then we'll go back to the mobile version and we'll work in the mobile version. We'll put this exactly where we want it. So let's go down and then down and then down and then down and then down. So now it's below all of that, but if you'll notice that the images went back to the sizes. So we'll one more time go and change the image sizes. So if I click here, I do like that, click here, 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 do like that. And now they're smaller and I've got my button at the bottom. And then this image right here is still at 50-50. And so those are the right sizes. So we'll go back to desktop and we will save. And then that takes care of our mobile version so that the mobile version looks exactly like what we want it to look. So let's take a look again. So we've got our desktop version. Let's start at the top. This is what it looks like. Everything looks beautiful. It's centered. It's nice and neat. And then if we switch over to mobile, we can see that it's really similar in the design, but there's a couple of little things that we changed. But let's take a look from the top. We've got the image right here. And remember, we can make that smaller if we want to. So we can kind of move that, let's say 75 and 75. There we go. That way it's a little bit smaller, and then we can take out some of that space in the top and the bottom. And then we've got a really nice looking header. And then all of that looks great. That image looks great. We can make that a little bit smaller though. So let's go, see, maybe 100 and 100. How's that look? Oh, that looks good. And then scrolling down, everything looks great. Those images stayed small for us, which is great. Those images are at 50 like they're supposed to be. So everything looks fantastic from there. It looks like a nice mobile version of the website. So I'm going to go back to desktop and I'm going to save to make sure everything I've done so far is saved in the system. So that's fine. And now I'm actually done editing this page, except for, remember, we need to finish out the other pages. We need to connect our buttons, and we need to just revise some content information to make sure the information on the page is actually matching the store, the ice cream shop. So you put specific information on there, including the testimonials, and then of course the right contact information and stuff like that. But we've done a great job of building this website from the ground up. I've got a few more things to show you to tidy up things before we end this. So I will see you in the next video.